Right now at 6:30, changing the culture of gun violence here in Louisville. Tonight, we hear from a woman who survived a gunshot wound to the chest and how she says her brush with death has changed her outlook on life. Plus, 3 women are found dead, and investigators say the person responsible could be a serial killer copycat. The evidence they found to link the 2 cases ahead here at 6:30. And we're dry right now, but there is more rain in the forecast. Meteorologist Kristen Walls lays it all out for us. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Chelsea Rabideau. Gun violence affects so many people in Louisville every day. Sometimes the shootings we tell you about are deadly, and sometimes the victim is lucky enough to survive. For Jasmine Willis, she was shot on June 13th in the 4400 block of Del Park Terrace. She had surgery and weeks of rehab. Tonight, she's sharing her story in hopes that someone else doesn't have to go through what she went through. And WHAS 11's Brittany Gonzalez spoke with Jasmine, and she joins us now live from downtown Louisville. Brittany?
And Chelsea, one of her accused attackers is here at Metro Corrections, and Jasmine was actually in a coma for more than a week because of this shooting. Now, she tells me tonight it was important for her to come forward so she can try and stop even one person from firing a gun.
This is what Jasmine Willis looked like less than 1 month ago.
It's kind of hard for me to talk where I was on a ventilator on the feeding tube.
The mother of 2 says her world changed on June 13th. She was shot in her chest, her liver shattered. Her 7-year-old son at home with her when it happened, all for something she calls a petty argument.
Started so much as an argument over a parking spot, and then him going off to threaten me, and I get home, he brought a young lady over there. We had a physical confrontation, and all I can remember is the shots and my son screaming, "Please don't let my mama die."
Police arrested Kendra LaRue and charged her with assault. The shooter, a man Willis knows. Today, she wants to share her story, she says, to try and change a culture of violence.
I was once one of them people that I would give you an argument, but now this is a wake-up call to where just turn the other cheek.
Since the night she was shot, Willis says she's had nightmares, and so has her son.
Everybody's talking about they want the old Jasmine back, but there's no bringing her back. I'm not me no more. And then have to worry about what my kids went through. It's hard.
Now she's working to move and to keep working toward recovery.
And Jasmine, of course, tells me she feels incredibly blessed to be alive. She's still recovering. She has to go back to the doctors in about a month to see how her progress is doing. Now, the male shooter in this case is being held in Christian County on unrelated charges. Reporting live, Brittany Gonzalez, WHAS 11 News.
Thank you, Brittany. Well, 2 teens who were shot in Louisville's Shawnee neighborhood this weekend are still recovering in the hospital. Police say a 17-year-old girl and an 18-year-old boy were shot in the 200 block of South 43rd Street early Saturday morning. Both teens are expected to survive. They're both in stable condition tonight, and so far no suspects have been named and no one has been arrested. A live look right now at First Alert Max HD radar shows dry skies here in Louisville, but a lot of activity south of the area. Meteorologist Kristen Walls is joining us now, and it seems like this evening we're not expecting too much, but by tomorrow morning we're going to have to be prepared.
It looks like you're going to need to have the rain gear handy with you as you head out the door for tomorrow morning for that morning commute. We will watch again a slug of moisture moving in here with some heavy rain and even some thunderstorms. No severe weather will be expected, but again, we're looking at this wet weather moving in. Right now, though, across the city, we're looking at dry skies, a lot of sunshine for right now, and even through most of the day today. Let's get a look at Max HD radar scanning the skies right now. Everything seems to be dry. We have one isolated shower that has just popped up. Notice most of that moisture right now, most of that activity is off to our south and also to our west. We have that isolated shower in Perry County, just north of Troy. No lightning strikes with that, just some heavy downpours should be expected. So right now, temperatures 86 degrees outside. Once you factor in that humidity, which isn't too bad, we're looking at a feels like temperature right around 90 degrees. And for this evening, again, an isolated shower or storm could be expected, although timing out some very heavy rain expected for later tonight into early tomorrow morning for that morning commute. I'll be timing that all out. Chelsea with Futurecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Kristen. East End drivers, listen up. You may want to find another way into Louisville this week because of a ramp closure at I-64 in the Watterson. Starting tonight, the exit ramp from I-64 west to the westbound lanes of the Watterson Expressway will close. That ramp will stay closed through Monday, July 29th, so road crews can replace pavement and guardrails.
It is going to be a major inconvenience for a lot of people, particularly people who come from the east side of town, Shelby County, etc., who work over along areas off of the Watterson Expressway. People will need to find alternate routes.
Detour signs will be posted and there will be police officers on hand to direct traffic, and this is just part of an overall project to do concrete pavement repairs on the Watterson between the Browns Lane overpass and Westport Road. The idea of having to pay tolls on the new downtown bridge and East End Bridge has been a hot button issue here in Kentuckiana, and this week you will have your chance to have your opinion heard and offer your suggestions.
Everybody was so happy just to get the bridges going, to get an agreement and to break ground, but now we have to look at what impact, what repercussions will this have on the lives of ordinary people.
Kentucky and Indiana are paying for the Ohio River Bridges project through gas tax revenues and tolls. The plan is to use no-stop, all-electronic tolling to keep traffic flowing on the bridges. Overhead cameras and electronic receivers will record all the vehicles that cross. 2 public meetings will be held. The first is tomorrow from 4 to 7 at the Holiday Inn in Clarksville on Marriott Drive, and the second is from 4 to 7 on Tuesday at the Kentucky African American Heritage Center on Muhammad Ali Boulevard. More local news. The body of an AWOL Fort Campbell soldier has been found near a training area on post. The family of 23-year-old Specialist Brandon Bertolo says he went missing last weekend. His body was found Friday. The Army isn't releasing Bertolo's cause of death at this time. His family says he was under investigation by the military, but the specifics on that aren't being released either. A Louisville senator is hoping to add Kentucky to the list of 18 states who have legalized medical marijuana. State Senator Perry Clark has introduced a bill for the 2013 legislative session that would legalize pot for medical use here in Kentucky. Today, he and the group Kentuckians for Medical Marijuana were celebrating at Senator Clark's Louisville home because there will be a public hearing on the medical marijuana bill on August 21st in the Health and Welfare Joint Senate-House Committee.
It's time. 40% of the states have already passed medical marijuana laws, and Kentucky's kind of fallen behind on that. The science is far on our sides. Cannabis is medicine. It's medicine in its many forms.
Senator Clark introduced a similar bill last year, but it didn't go anywhere. Opponents of the bill fear legalizing marijuana for medical use would also open the door for more illegal marijuana operations in the state. A disturbing crime comes to light this weekend, and it's drawing parallels to a high-profile serial killer. Why investigators believe the person who killed 3 young women may have taken his inspiration from a convicted serial killer. Sam Swope is a name we here in Kentuckiana associate with cars, but did you know the man behind all those dealerships also has a love for motorcycles? 14 years ago, Sam Swope started this charity ride to combine a few of his favorite things, motorcycles, and giving back to the community. Today, the goal was to raise $150,000 for COSAIR charities. This year, nearly 1,000 riders took part. Their motto, "We ride so kids can walk."
My wife and I were talking last night, and she said the same thing I was thinking. She said, I don't think I could stand it if my kids or my grandkids had cancer. I think that would be a horrible, horrible thing. So it seems like a very good charity.
Each biker pays to participate in the ride, an 80-mile scenic route from Sam Swope Auto Center on Hurstbourne Parkway to COSAIR Shrine Temple. All of the money raised goes to COSAIR charities. There are all kinds of triathlons for adults, but finding one for kids is nearly impossible. So when Nikki Weiss's son said he wanted to participate in a triathlon like his parents, there was only one option: start a triathlon for kids right here in Louisville. This is the second year for the Douglas Hills Kids Triathlon. Children 6 to 15 compete in 3 activities: swimming, biking, and running. The main goal is to encourage kids to get active and stay active.
Too many kids want to sit home on the couch, and with electronics nowadays it's kind of easy to do. So this is a way to get kids active and healthy, try something they've never tried before, and hopefully keep them active in doing these things.
More than 200 kids participated in the triathlon today. Event creator Weiss says she is now working to create a family triathlon where parents and kids can compete together. 3 women found dead, and investigators say they expect to find more victims. The reason? The person responsible looks to be a serial killer copycat. The bodies of 3 women have been found wrapped in plastic bags in East Cleveland, and investigators fear they could find more. Police have a convicted sex offender in custody. They believe he killed all 3 women in the past 10 days. Reporter Katie Murray explains how these bodies were discovered and what's being done to search for 2, maybe 3 more people.
Law enforcement and cadaver dogs scour a chilling scene. An area in East Cleveland, Ohio, where 3 bodies were found, all wrapped in layers of plastic and taped up. Neighbors are in disbelief.
This is very, very upsetting.
According to authorities, all 3 victims appear to be young African-American women. A car in the garage where one victim was found led investigators to this man. 35-year-old Michael Madison is now in custody after a standoff with police. Madison was convicted in 2001 of attempted rape and is a registered sex offender, but has not been charged yet in connection to this case.
We are protecting the public from him right now. He will receive his due process, but he has a lot of questions to answer, and he owes this community a lot.
Investigators think Madison could be a copycat, mimicking the crimes of convicted serial killer Anthony Sowell.
Everything was in about a 250 feet proximity to where he lived. The MO is the same. Each body was wrapped in several plastic bags. We definitely believe that he would probably be tied to everything.
Sowell was sentenced to death in 2011 for killing 11 women in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. The search continues as authorities fear the worst.
I hope and pray that we do not find more bodies. However, we are dealing with a sick individual, and we have reason to believe that there might be more victims.
East Cleveland's mayor calls this case atrocious, but is relieved Madison is now off the streets.
We know that if he had been out for 1 more hour, there's no telling what would have happened.
A representative for the suspect could not immediately be reached. Katie Murray, WHAS 11 News.
So far, police have been unable to identify any of the victims. And meteorologist Kristen Wall is joining us once again in the Weather Center. We've got a little bit of rain moving in tonight.
Yeah, Chelsea, we're going to be tracking some heavy rain showers pushing in here late overnight into early tomorrow morning. So you're going to want to have that rain gear handy before you head out the door early tomorrow morning. Not the case for this evening. If you have plans outdoors, you should be good to go. Max HD radar scanning the skies right now. Things are relatively dry. Few isolated showers now beginning to push into some of our western counties, Crawford, even extending into Perry County. But most of the moisture right now well off to our south and west. This is really what's going to be chugging in our direction for later overnight into early tomorrow morning. Few isolated showers, as I had mentioned, just north of Troy and Perry County. Really not moving much of anywhere, but expect some heavy downpours with anything that happens to pop up for this evening. No severe weather expected for this evening, and the same thing as we head into our day tomorrow. But we'll just have to watch out for possibly some localized flooding with anything that happens to develop for late tonight into early tomorrow morning. Temperatures not too bad. We didn't make it into the 90s for today. First day in quite some time we didn't reach the 90s. 86 right now in the metro. 87 degrees in Scottsburg, although it is still relatively humid outside. Here's a look at your feels like temperature. This number is a little bit off, but we're 90 degrees your feel like temperature in the metro, 91 what it feels like in Fort Knox, and 87 down in E-Town. So here's what's ahead of us as we start off your work week. We have that heavy rain that'll push in here throughout the overnight hours. We're looking at that wet commute, but the good news is no severe weather will be expected. And as we head over the next week or so, relief from the heat. Actually, temperatures will be coming in slightly below average over the next week. So right now, relatively dry across the area. We will watch an upper level disturbance moving in here, and this will bring again a lot of moisture into the area with some heavy rain expected, even a few thunderstorms. But as I mentioned, the main threats will lead to some heavy rain and also some lightning. So as we start later tonight into early tomorrow morning, notice by about 5 or 6 o'clock, this moisture beginning to push on in here. This is right around 8 o'clock for that morning commute. So just a heads up, when even as we head towards later on in the afternoon hours. Still looking at the chance for some isolated to some scattered showers and storms, but not quite as widespread as we'll see out there by early tomorrow morning. Now, as we head into our day on Tuesday, I think we'll be mainly dry in the morning. Then looking at another shot of some showers and storms arriving for Tuesday afternoon before we really start to dry things out on Wednesday. Sunshine returns and the humidity will be a lot lower. So not only will we see relief from the heat, but we'll also see relief from the humidity. Your forecast, though, for tonight, 72. Those showers and storms developing late, mainly after midnight. Then 76 degrees for that morning commute. It's going to be a wet commute. Then dodging some more showers and storms by the afternoon. Cooler with a high of 84 degrees. Then your 7-day forecast will be at 87 degrees on Tuesday with some showers and storms in the afternoon. Less humid on Wednesday. A beautiful day Thursday and a Friday. Then Chelsea tracking more showers and storms arriving for next weekend for Saturday into Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much, Kristen. Yet another Louisville basketball player is representing the United States overseas. We'll let you know where Russ Smith is heading. And the ACC kicked off its media days. Already Louisville is being mentioned by the conference commissioner. Adam Lefkoe has sound with John Swofford next.
You know, there are certain concepts that demand a reality TV show. Russ Smith travels to Europe may top the list. The senior guard, yet another Louisville basketball player competing on an international stage. Russ Smith named to the East Coast All-Stars. They are already on their way to Estonia. They'll face teams from Belarus, Estonia, and the Slovak Republic. How about that? Good traveling. Now, while Russ is out there, the rest of the team's going to head to Washington on Tuesday, Washington, D.C. The biggest question for next season may be Montrezl Harrell. Can he be the dominant big man for the defending champs? The team and himself seem confident he can.
If I'm out there on the floor playing, I'm just going to give it my all. I mean, I don't really look at it as a challenge of playing the 5. I mean, there's no difference from the 5 or the 4. Just different than who you guard. That's really how I look at it. I mean, I'm just looking to go out there and give my all and do whatever it takes for a team to win.
You know, even the guys at USA Basketball that I talked to about him said that from last year to this year, he's a completely different player in person. They said he's matured a lot, and that his game has really grown. So I don't think anybody's going to be very surprised if he plays that well.
Today kicked off the ACC Media Days down in North Carolina. While Louisville is still a year away from joining that conference, they were mentioned multiple times by Commissioner John Swofford in his opening comments. Take a listen.
And Louisville, as you know, has just had an incredible athletic year that very few programs, if any, ever have in a single year. So I think we are as strong as we have ever been as a conference, and tremendously well positioned for not only the short-term future, but the long-term future.
All right, British Open in action. All eyes, sleepy eyes on the British Open. Tiger in contention, chipping out of what looks like a wheat field. Finds himself in the sand. That's sad Tiger. Shot a 74-3 over, finished in 6th. Lee Westwood, the leader heading into the day. I would have broken that sand wedge over my knee. All right, but the man that was really the stud all day, Phil Mickelson on 14, beautiful putt, 1 under at that point, and finishing it out with a nice read. The curvature down the hill, that is his first British Open title, his first claret jug. Congrats to Phil.
Just an amazing feeling to win this great championship and to play probably the best round of my career and hit some of the best shots that I've ever hit. Certainly putt better than I've ever putted.
I felt like I was really playing well today, and actually the whole week. I really hit so many good shots and really had control of my ball this week. And as I said, it was just trying to get the speed, and I just didn't get it.
The 100th running of the Tour de France came to a close today. Chris Froome took the world's best bike race. Froome is the second Brit in a row to win the race. It was the first time the race ended under an evening sky. Froome, 28 years old. Reds in action, Homer Bailey on the hill. Top of the second, Garrett Jones is going to take Bailey deep to right, smashes one. Solo home run. At that time, it would be 1-0 Pirates. Homer did pitch fantastic, but plays like this happened. Top of the 7th, just outside of his mitt. Go-ahead RBI that would knock Bailey out of the game. Pirates, the 3-2 lead. Mesoraco can't get it done. Despite a career-best 12 strikeouts, the Red, they lose 3-2. Bats up in Scranton taking on the Yankees. Billy Hamilton had 2 steals in the game, now a league-leading 56 on the season. He is fast. Some great defense as well. Henry Rodriguez with the beautiful double play. The Bats get their 3rd win of the season, 4-1. Ladies?
All right, thanks so much. And we
Yes.
just want to tell you congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you very
on your
much.
Emmy. Was it 1 or 2 Emmys?
Just
that you-
one.
Just
Just
the
one.
one. He won an
Yes.
Emmy last night, so congratulations.
Hey,
on
and it was to the people of Henryville, which was a great story. I enjoyed doing it, but to them, I would like to just give it to them. So I hope everything's great up there in Indiana.
They're going to come and ask for it now. They
You
want
can
your
have
Emmy.
it. You've earned it. Thank
We've
you.
got a little bit of rain moving in tonight.
Yeah, we'll be tracking some heavy rain, a few storms, no severe weather for tonight and for that morning commute, but it will be cooler by tomorrow afternoon, the high of 84.
All right, thanks so much, Kristen, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here tonight on 11 at 11.